A few days ago, I came across TikToks. Men, Mexican men, by the way. I don't know who they are, but they just have shows on, like podcasts, like us, like us. And one of them was saying that the value of women came not from who they were or what they did, but rather it came from what men gave the woman the value. So your worth is not who you are, but what man assign you that your worth is.
Wow.
Wow. So that was the first one. The second one was about how men don't like women who are smart, successful, who have money, and who own businesses. You know, like women who are like JLo, who are entrepreneurs and successful. They find that they are not attracted to women like that.
Wow.
So I figured, why not talk about what all that means to us
Welcome to episode 2.
of season 2. Sex,
Relationships
careers,
and just plain life. From the experience of 2 Latina actresses.
welcome to the Unfiltered. Hi, I am Vanessa Tomasino.
And my name is Maria Bruson.
We talk about relationships and life and stuff like that, but after listening to those TikToks, I wanted to talk to you about how we felt because we fall under that category. I mean, I don't want to cry and feel like I have no value, but it makes you really question what kind of society we're living in when our values determine but what men in our society think of us and not what we work towards to be happy and fulfilled.
I think it's kind of funny to think about because it seems like we're living back in like Stone Age.
It
That's
is.
what it like back when women weren't able to vote. Like that's how I feel we're coming back to that. And like I actually, now that you mentioned these TikToks that you saw the other day, I saw a story someone posted, and it was this anchor man from like a new, like I think it was Fox News.
Okay.
Go figure. And he was saying like that society has lied to women, telling us that we can do all the girl boss, do it all thing kind of game. And he puts Chelsea Handler as an example that like she's probably like she doesn't have sex because she's doing this like, this girl boss kind of interpretation that her life is, like such a lie, and people have lied to women that we are able to do that. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there watching these stories, and I don't know if I wanted to cry or if I wanted to laugh because it seemed like a joke. It seemed like it was a parody. Crazy. It's crazy to think about that.
I agree with you 100%. I think we're living in the dark ages again. There's a backlash towards feminist movements and women being empowered and being bad boss bitches. Why? Now, that being said, I called one of my male friends today, and he's super woke. Like, he's super woke. He gender equality, all that stuff. And I said to him, I talked to him about the TikToks, and he said, well, what kind of men are we talking about? Because it seems like those men doing those TikToks are a very particular mainstream kind of men. It's, it's not all of them who think like that, but perhaps a majority of them who think like that. And the idea that, do we want to be with people like that? I mean, I don't.
And like now that you say that, what kind of women want to be with men like that?
Maybe women who actually believe in that narrative.
Like it's crazy to me to think about like this, narrative or whatever. Like I don't understand. And like to me, then I think about like then these men have families and they have like girls, like daughters.
Daughters.
Do they want that for their daughters? Like, do they want
Yes.
other men to think that way about their little princesses and like their love of their lives? You know, like I don't understand how they can think that way when they have moms,
Mm-hmm.
they have daughters, they have women in their lives that they care about. Or I mean, I want to believe that they care about them. So I don't know.
I think let's deconstruct the two arguments because we're discussing two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're discussing value, and then we're discussing being afraid of a powerful woman, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So let's go back to value. I think that the problem is that the same men who believe these narratives, they will pass that on to their kids, to their
Mm-hmm,
daughters.
mm-hmm.
So, for example, if a dad is ultra conservative and he does believe that the woman should only be a wife or a mother, then this narrative doesn't bother them. They will say that's right. The
Mm-hmm.
value of my daughter is assigned to how she can
Mm-hmm.
provide as a woman and as a wife and as a mother. And then he will raise that little girl that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not against their beliefs, and that's the
That's
problem.
the problem. I think that's normal.
I was talking to somebody yesterday. Who was I talking to? One of my girlfriends. We went to the beach,
Mm-hmm.
and she told me something that was very true, and I hadn't thought about that. In the same household, a son is being taught to be independent, to be strong, to be successful, and to not get tied down by women, especially young. And the sister is being told, don't be too smart, don't be sassy, be ready for to be a wife, go to college to find a
You
husband,
look better like if you stay quiet.
stay
Yeah.
quiet, don't fight, don't swear,
Mm-hmm.
be thin, be beautiful. Her values on beauty. So
Mm-hmm.
it is the same household, the same parents, the same beliefs. However, they're being raised completely different. And then we're told to go out into the world with these beliefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the boys are being taught to be alone and independent and not care for women. And the women are being told to go look for someone who they can depend on. The messages are contradictory.
Yeah, it's
How can we do this? How can we have relationships that are functional if we're being raised completely different?
mm-hmm.
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense. And then, you know, comes like all of the collateral damage of
Mm-hmm.
raising kids this way when boys think that it's not okay to cry, that having feelings is, and showing emotion is for weak people.
Mm-hmm.
And then they can't develop true deep connections with women or men, whatever they choose, as their partners, because they can't, they have suppressed so much in their lives.
Yeah.
And then they keep on, repeating the same pattern, repeating the narrative and raising their kids that way. And then it's just a never ending cycle.
It's a gong show.
Yeah, like.
Let's talk about value. Because I actually, to be quite honest, Maria, I had never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
I always saw my life and who I was as being very valuable. I mean, I have low self esteem too, but when I think of value, I'm a good person. I'm an academic, I'm an actor, successful in all my areas. I'm a mother, I'm a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not perfect for sure, but I think that what I bring to the table into this world is very valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm being taught that there's a group of men who don't think that my work in this world is valuable because they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm supposed to accept their value towards me or their designation of value of myself. How crazy that sounds?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy. Why would I let a bunch of men tell me what my value is when I know what it is? Damn, I'm the one living this skin and working my butt off.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I listen to what some caveman says about my value? And most of the time, these men are not very accomplished.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that post that I put like a few days ago, that it said something like, "Don't take flying lessons from people who have never left the ground."
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's like men trying to have an opinion about childbirth, like something like that,
I
you
love
know?
that. That's my best,
Yeah.
my favorite thing. Listen to men explain my body.
And if you think about it, like most of the time, the value that men put for women, it like boils down to like sexuality and like their sex lives.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
if you're a virgin, like then your value like goes way up high. And then if not, then you're trash and you're a whore. And I like that you brought up how self-esteem and knowing your worth is not interchangeable. Like
mm-hmm.
I suffer from like low
Yeah,
self-esteem as well, but I know my value. Like I've been
yeah.
lucky enough to be surrounded by family members and friends that like to remind me my worth when I'm not so sure about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom, like she's a special person, but she's always been my number one fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably behind my back. Like she never tells it to my face. But like thanks to her, I also know like what I bring to the table, what my value
Yeah,
is and what my worth is.
yeah.
That doesn't mean that I don't have like, issues like anybody else. Like, I my body image issues, my low
That's
self-esteem.
different.
That's totally different.
But and I hear you, talk, and I'm like, you're right. It's different because low self esteem has a lot to do with social baggage and what our parents told us, or our
And
friends,
mental
or
health and
mental
like your
health,
own
all that stuff.
battles.
But value is recognizing what you bring to the table in this world. And when you work really hard, you know your value,
Mhm.
because you know that we are able to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I feel very proud of a lot of the things I've done in my life, and I'm only 41, and I feel like there's so much more that I still have to do, and so much I have to give, and yet I know that what I've done so far is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I've helped so many people. That's amazing to me. The value of who I am, knowing that I'm leaving this world and having changed part of it, makes me really proud. And to have some dude, some bro, come up and say, you know what, you work like a bitch, like a badass boss bitch, and you're in too many things, or you have too many aspirations. That's not valuable to me. Valuable is if you can cook, or
Mm-hmm.
if you can be with me, or if you look pretty. Why would I listen to that person? Why would I listen to that person? Am I living his life or my life? I'm living my life. And in my life, I choose to help people. And that's my value. It's ridiculous. Like, I can't even, like, when I heard it, I was just like, is this for real? They would call us high value women. They would say those women who think they're high value. We
Okay,
think
Jim Bro.
no, so weird. And then I move on to the next guy who's talking about, he thinks he's lecturing women on what we're supposed to be doing for them. Like he says, like, women, we don't find you attractive if you have money, if you have businesses, or you are successful. We want a woman that we can help. I was
Okay, so
like,
just because he's broke, he wants us to be broke as well with him?
I
Like
don't know.
what?
I don't know. I think they want to feel like the woman is dependent. But once again, that comes back to the whole insecurity of, what are you afraid of? Like, are you
Mm-hmm.
afraid that if the woman is too smart, she's going to realize that you're an idiot? Because she will. I mean, it, you
I
know,
mean, yeah. The
you know
thing is,
what
like, also, like, let's talk about like any woman who is like really worth it
I mean? Mm-hmm.
is not gonna go out looking for guys like them. It's
Yeah,
like they're
like the
probably they
bros.
probably like super. I don't know, like maybe they're like really resentful towards us because they can't find anyone like us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Let's ask them. Hey, male listeners, What is it that you're afraid of?
Do you feel triggered by this episode? Yeah. So, what is it about us that you don't like? Why aren't we attractive?
What is the problem with us being successful? Why is it that men feel like they have to be more successful than women to feel comfortable in a relationship? I mean, if you're a man listening to this episode, let me just spell this out for you. I don't give a fuck if you're successful or not. I care if you are driven, if you're passionate and you want and you're fighting for something. I care because that shows that you're fighting for your life. It means you're fighting for yourself, and I find that attractive.
There's nothing more attractive than ambition.
Oof, yes.
Yeah.
A man with ambition is the best.
Healthy ambition.
Healthy ambitions. I'm not saying run somebody over, to get what you want. But I'm saying that if you want something and you're working towards that in a healthy way, I will support you. Now, I am not looking for a man who is super successful and I don't know how he made his success, like I just want to see someone living their best life and fighting for what they want.
And share it with us.
And share it with us.
Share triumphs, share every win and every, fall, like good times and bad times.
Yeah.
Like we're only human.
Exactly. And what's so wrong working as a team?
Yeah.
I don't understand why. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a 41-year-old woman. Yes, I would want to be dating somebody who is already self-made, meaning that they know who they are, they're working in their best job. Yes, I would love to meet someone like that. That being said, I don't mind meeting someone who's working towards that too. But if we turn the whole thing around, just like men are saying to us that we are not attractive because we're successful, what if it was women telling men, I don't find you attractive because you're successful? That's so unfair. You're completely ignoring the humanity of that person. Are you attracted to them or are you attracted to their success?
Yeah. I personally am not attracted to like billionaire men.
Me neither.
Like, that is like, and I feel like men just, they dismiss anything else, any other opinions or like, like taste, like my taste. I don't like super rich men. That's not my thing. I feel like with a lot of money comes a lot of problems. It's not my cup of tea. And men just they just assume that that's what all women want.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Although I do have to say that we also don't want to generalize and assume that all men who are rich are bad people. No, we're not saying that. All we're saying is that we understand.
I don't usually go for that.
Exactly. And we understand the responsibility of having a lot of money. And we neither of us want that. So that's an example of two women who are not unfortunate looking, who are, we have our good things, we're independent and all that stuff. And we're telling you we don't like men who are rich. So why this blanket assumption that all women want to marry millionaires and billionaires?
And live that lush life and, private jets and shit. Like, no. Like, it's not for everybody. And men just dismiss any other, opinions or like whatever and think that that's the only thing women want. And that's why they want submissive, unsuccessful women.
And if that's the case, if you're thinking, well, I am meeting women who are like that, then you should wonder where you're meeting these women.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you something. I don't see you and I don't see me clubbing every weekend.
Oh, no. No. That's something from the past. Like, that's way my past. Like, I'm not
saying clubbing is bad. Don't jump. All I'm saying is that women like us are not necessarily in places like that. Not that it's bad, but I'm saying that we don't invest our time in that area.
And there might be high value women clubbing every weekend because that's just the way they want it. It's fun. And it's not necessarily because they're looking for rich men to like buy them drinks, like it's just people are just generalizing and assuming that, all women in a club, they just want to get laid and want to get their drinks paid for. Like, no. Yeah.
I used to go out with this guy and we talked about this stuff, meeting women and, things like that. Because he used to get on Tinder and stuff like that. And he said to me one day, it's just that I find that women, they want everything. They want the perfect man, money, tall, handsome, hair, everything, right? But they have very little to offer themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, well, what kind of women are we talking about here? Like, and then, he starts describing them or whatever, like fake nails, fake hair, fake eyelashes. Blah, blah. And then my next question is, where are you finding them?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have a group of friends, you included, my darling, but I have a group of friends who are strong, capable, successful women who don't look like that and who are not waiting for the perfect man, whatever that means. We're
Mm-hmm.
just girls who want to be loved and who want to love someone.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't find anyone because everyone's fighting.
And we're like compete, like, quote unquote, competing in this pool of, appearances and like fake stuff, social media, and like, the recurring themes all over again. And also ask yourself, like, why are you attracting the same type of woman?
Where are you going that you're attracting them? And why are you gravitating towards that?
Like, maybe because you're putting all of your energy into, I have to be whatever, rich, have X amount of money, and live X life. That's the type of women that you're attracting into your lives.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Um Also, I wanted to ask this question, like,
Mm-hmm.
let's ask this open question, like,
Okay.
why are we so triggered by these TikToks? Like, just like we asked our male listeners, like,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel triggered by this episode? Like, why are we so triggered
Mm-hmm.
by these TikToks, by these men like Andrew Tate, for
Yeah.
example?
Jesus.
Why are we so triggered?
I think it's because, in a way, we've always known that this was true, but to actually hear it
Mm-hmm.
and to have a bunch of other men clapping
Mm-hmm.
is very scary.
It's scary.
So scary. Like, I go back to the times where women were being burned at the stake.
Mm.
That was a way of governing and controlling women who didn't want to be
Mm-hmm.
mothers and who wanted an alternative life. And I go back to that and I think to myself that these kind of men still exist and they live among us
Mm-hmm.
and they have these particular ideas on how we, let alone be attractive, because I don't give a fuck if you're not attracted to me. I don't care.
Me neither.
Right? Like,
I have my boyfriend, I love him and he loves me, and he's not intimidated by any of my successes or my job or whatever.
it's amazing.
So
He's a
I'm
keeper.
good. Like, yeah, he is. I don't need your approval. I don't need you to find me attractive or whatever. So
Mm-hmm. And in my case, well, I don't care. I really don't care. And I don't even think that that it's an issue for me. Like, obviously I don't want to feel like I'm unfortunate looking, but I don't
you're
necessarily,
not.
no, but I don't want to look into the mirror and be like, I want to be attractive, you know? So if I don't feel that for myself, obviously I don't care if you think I am attractive. There's so many people who say to me, oh, so and so said this about you. Like, oh, maybe you shouldn't wear that because so and so said this, that it looked bad. It doesn't matter. Like, who cares?
Let's. I'm gonna put things like,
Very
like,
clear.
very clear, like right now. If she didn't do anything because casting directors told her that she was too something for a role, I don't think you're gonna come and like change yourself for a man. Especially a man who says that your worth is whatever he says your value is.
Wow. Yeah. Yes. I mean, we've been fighting. We've talked about this in other podcasts. We've been structurally fighting for
Yeah.
our rights.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think this is going to bother me? Like, I've already fought the racism card, the gender card at work. Like, why do you think it's going to bother me if you're watching View Unfiltered and you go, Vanessa's not so attractive. I don't care. Okay. So let's leave that alone. But let's go back to value. That bothers me because the idea of value is saying to another human, your life is worth something on this planet. And if you're not doing anything wrong, why should your value decrease? Right? Now, that being said, we all work towards being our best selves. And so we place a certain value. Like I know that I have shortcomings and I know my limitations. I know what I want to work on.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not blind. You know, I have a list, friends. I have a list that I go, Vanessa wants to be better in this area. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that.
Mm-mm.
But I know my worth at this point in time and I know where I want to get. Now, if all my hard work is being dismissed by a bro on a podcast saying that my value, regardless of how I feel about myself, regardless of my accomplishments, regardless of my struggle, because he's also ignoring the struggle or the things we're overcoming and we're surviving, despite all that, he feels he's entitled to tell me my worth because it's what he thinks is my worth. Like, bro, in what world are you living that I am actually going to buy that? That you're going to put the value of my worth. What is wrong with you?
I'm telling you, like, I feel like it seems like a joke. Like, I want to cry.
I know. It's like this
I wanna
episode
cry
is
'cause
sad.
It seems like it's a parody. I refuse to believe this is actually
Mhm.
the way some people think, some men think, and women. Honestly,
No, women
I don't.
too.
Yeah, I don't
Women
even
too.
want to.
It's not a
just
gender
say,
thing.
yeah, like some women actually think like that's it.
And the worst thing of all is that they will listen to these men. They will listen to these podcasts and they will start molding themselves according to what they think is valuable. So if they say you're valuable if you don't speak your mind, if you don't use vulgar language, if you are not a sexual being, because that's the other one, what you mentioned about being a sexual being, of saying, oh, if you're not a virgin, you have no value. Well, while in the case of men, is the more sexual experiences they have, they're greater their value. What the hell is that?
I don't think men know what the fuck they want, honestly, because no, listen, like have you ever seen like these videos or tweets about how men want a perfect woman, but they want her natural. So they want like big boobs but no implants. They want, smooth legs, but they want them real.
Yeah, no waxing, no,
Yeah, like it's okay, like
shaving.
they want them natural, but they want like, naked, like completely shaved body.
Yeah.
They want like a virgin, but they want her good in bed. Like, what?
How would she be good in bed if she's a virgin?
Like,
I remember my first experience. It was horrible. I don't want to live through that again.
I don't think men know what they want.
I know. But then again, regardless of what they want, why is it that we fall into the trap of caring what they want if they don't know what they want?
Because we want to fit in. We want to be loved.
But I think, Maria, that we should be loved by the right people.
Yes.
Like, I am tired of wanting to be loved. And then it's not like I'm just going to go with Joe Black, some random guy just because he's like, Vanessa, you're beautiful. Let's give it a shot. Oh, here I go. I think there has to be some sort of limitations, of saying I will not date somebody who is chauvinistic, for example. Or say, I will not date somebody who mistreats their mother. Something basic and simple.
I would rather be not loved at all than being loved by the wrong person. Definitely.
That is true. However, not a lot of people don't think that.
I know. But for me, like, I would rather not be loved at all than being loved by the wrong person, someone toxic, someone who doesn't, have the same interests, principles, morals as me. Like, no.
And I think now I want to just put this on the table because we haven't brought it up. We're talking about value and we're talking about being attractive, but this is giving men the idea that we actually are actively looking for a relationship. And it is perhaps true in your 20s and your teens when you say, oh, I want a boyfriend, I want to get married, whatever. Mm-hmm. But when you reach 30s and 40s, you start realizing that your life is better when you don't have a partner, I'm not saying that's my case. I'm just saying that statistically speaking, divorce benefits women more than it benefits men. Mm-hmm. Statistically speaking, I didn't invent this, so don't burn me, okay? Don't start saying that I'm a man hater. I'm just saying that statistically women have said that they rather be single after their age of 60, after getting divorced, then getting back into a marriage, because it means taking care of a man like he's another child, you know?
Oh, I told my boyfriend like I don't want kids until like 5 6 years from now. But I
Mm.
already have a child. It's him. He's the
Exactly.
child. I love you, but you're a child.
Yes, because they all are. They want to be fed, they want to be dressed, they want you to tell them what to do, but politely. So the thing is, you have to understand that when a woman decides to be in a relationship with you, is because she actually cares.
Yeah.
And she's sacrificing her best life. She's sacrificing her
For too many
years,
years.
her beauty, her sleep, her work. She's sacrificing all of that because she, deep inside, she wants to be with you. That's a privilege.
Yeah.
But men don't see that. They just want more and more and more, and then they have affairs 7 8 years down the road.
Yeah.
They're like, you neglected me, you changed, you gained weight, or you lost weight, you're not dressing the same way you dressed when we met. It's like, and you say, yeah, you're right, because I've been taking care of you for the past 7 8 years. I'm tired. It's like, yeah, and it's true.
Can I sleep now?
Can I sleep now? Can I not go to the kitchen and cook? Can you do your things now? Because the thing is, it's so easy at that point, 7 8 years into the relationship, when your woman who has taken care of you, who's probably paid the bills for you, who's probably sponsored you in your university or whatever, it's possibly true that she's tired, and maybe she's not feeling sexy anymore. She's not feeling good with herself anymore. Perhaps she let go because she has no time to exercise, whatever it may be. So it's easier for a man to then look for a newer girl who has been single, because the single girl still dresses up. She still gets, dolled up and everything because she wasn't taking care of him for 7 years. You get my point?
Yeah.
So it's easier for them to find somebody else. It's the same with kids. Why is it that men cheat on their wives after the wives have children? Because the wives are exhausted taking care of their children. And it's easier to start dating a woman who's single, because you can phone her up anytime. The kids won't be crying. You phone your wife up, she'll be crying. The baby will be crying, and she'll probably be swearing. And so the man will be like, oh, I'm not being loved at home, so I'm going to look for someone else outside. Yeah. Well, guess what? Guess who else is not being loved at home? The mother. And so I think that it's so easy for them to just walk away and be like, oh, I had an affair because you weren't paying attention to me. Yeah, well,
yeah, that's the easy way out.
I've been paying attention to you for all these years, and you've pretty much messed my life up. So what do you want me to say? It's I mean, it's the Unfiltered. We're just telling filters. We're telling you how it is, and if it offends you, just know that this is not uncommon for relationships. I've seen, aside from my failed relationships, I am the queen, failed relationships, but aside from me, I've seen lots of marriages fall apart around me. My parents, my friends, my cousins, everything. I've seen it all.
Yeah.
And so I'm coming from a place of, to a certain degree, authority, because I've seen it and I've seen what happens. And most of the time, it is the women who have been destroyed in the relationship while building the men up. But once they get divorced, it is the women who benefit because they find a new life again. They sleep again. They now take care of themselves. That's why the glow up comes and happens. And I've seen stories of women who were clinically depressed while being in a relationship, when having kids and everything. And the moment they get divorced, they become their best selves and they get fit again and they are super moms and stuff like that, because they no longer have to care for that big baby, the other big baby, who actually can have severe consequences on the tension of the household, right? Because the kids, at the end of the day, they're kids. But that husband, that big kid, can actually wreak some havoc in the house.
Yeah.
And so when women decide to get divorced, then they get this new breath of life. It's like, oh my God, I'm free. I'm free. I can do this. I can take care of myself. I can sleep. Nobody's calling me like, is lunch ready? Like I can eat whenever I want, and have fun with the kids. And on the downside, men who get divorced suffer a lot because the expenses increase, because now they have to go live by themselves. So the mortgage is not split. It's one apartment by themselves. Then they have to pay, yeah,
children.
yeah, pay child support. In some cases, if they married women who didn't work, then they have to pay also for the wife to keep the same kind of lifestyle. So they are pretty much financially
Fucked up.
screwed.
Yeah.
Yes. And then a few years down the road or a few months down the road, they realized that they actually lost a good person.
Mm-hmm.
But by then it's too late.
Because it got too hard and they weren't,
Mm-hmm. Men process information later when they are
like
heartbroken.
years later.
Yeah, heartbroken. It's years later than they realize
Mm-hmm.
that they messed up. Well, women, we mourn immediately. So we break up right now. We will cry for you for 3-4 days, depending on the length of the relationship, and then we'll move on.
Move on, and everything gets better.
Exactly. Well, men, they move on
They're
immediately.
like, yeah,
I'm free.
I'm free,
Bro.
Yeah, I broke with these chains off, and I'm gonna live my best life. And then 2 months later, they're like depressed.
Yeah, they're calling you. You're like, I don't know what I did. It's like, dude, I already moved on. You're like, I changed countries. I mean, I'm not there anymore. How can I explain this? Once again, this is the Unfiltered. It's not man hating show. We don't hate men. We actually, I love men. I am a great supporter of them. I just wish that
You have 2 of them.
I have 2 boys. I just wish that the toxic masculinity that we have in this society wouldn't affect them, but it does. And if they're willing to play that game and not realize that it's affecting them, then, bro, we can't help you. We can't help you, bro.
Bro.
So if you have any questions for us or any comments, I mean, I know these type of episodes.
Hit us up, bro.
These type of episodes always get some hate because men just, they get so defensive. It's like, you don't want to hear us. We hear you. We hear you too much.
Yeah,
maybe.
I really wanted to bring this to the table and say, why is this triggering you, and why do these type of TikToks trigger us? And let's have a conversation. Like, that's the only way we can progress and grow and change, if that's what we want.
We want you to be happy, living your best life, just like we want to be happy, living our best life, and knowing that the value of who we are and the attractiveness of who we are comes not from you, but from us. So if you have any comments, feel free to message us. You can message Maria.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok as MF Bruson.
And you can message me or you can find me on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. I said Facebook, it's old. You don't have to message me on Facebook because I won't answer. I don't check Facebook. Instagram, I do. Vanessa Tomasino, 1 N, 1 S. And we will see you the next episode.
Bye.